The battle for Milan's football future just got personal. While AC Milan and Inter have shared the iconic San Siro for over 75 years, behind closed doors, a fierce power struggle has been unfolding. Inter Milan shocked the football world when they announced plans to break away and build their own state-of-the-art stadium in Rozzano, a bold move that many insiders claim was driven by growing tensions between the rival clubs. The proposed 70,000-seat colosseum, set to cost €800 million, not only promised to eclipse the aging San Siro, but also ignited a surge of midnight negotiations, political backroom deals, and billions of euros at stakes, making the battle for Italian football's future more dramatic than ever. But just as construction seemed inevitable, a sudden U-turn left fans stunned and architects scrambling. What really happened behind the scenes? And why did one of Europe's most ambitious stadium projects suddenly change course? Today, we dive into Inter Milan's stadium revolution, the vision that nearly reshaped Italian football. Inter Milan's journey toward a separate stadium didn't begin overnight. For decades, both Milan giants have shared the iconic San Siro, but increasing revenue demands and modern football economics made this arrangement increasingly problematic. The stadium, while historic, simply couldn't generate the premium matchday revenue that Inter's ownership desperately needed to compete with Europe's elite clubs. When American investment fund Oaktree Capital Management took control of Inter in 2021, following the financial difficulties of previous owner Suning, they immediately recognized that stadium ownership was critical to Inter's long-term financial independence. Unlike in England or Germany, where clubs own their stadiums and maximize revenue through hospitality and year-round usage, Italian football has lagged behind with mostly municipality-owned grounds. The original plan to redevelop San Siro together with AC Milan had been dragging on since 2019, caught in endless bureaucratic delays and heritage protection issues. After the local Heritage Commission ruled that the second tier of San Siro couldn't be demolished, due to its cultural significance, both clubs began exploring separate paths. For Inter, the frustration with sharing facilities with their bitter rivals had reached a breaking point. Every derby match required complex logistics, revenue sharing, and compromises on branding and fan experience. Moreover, the club recognized that maintaining their own distinct identity required a home that reflected Inter's specific character and ambitions. By July 2023, Inter made their move, acquiring exclusive rights from the Cabassi Group to conduct a feasibility study for a new stadium in Rozzano, a suburb just outside Milan. This wasn't just about building a stadium. It was about securing Inter's future autonomy and creating a financial engine that could power the club for generations. When world-renowned stadium architects Populus unveiled their designs for Inter Milan's Rozzano project in late 2023, the football world took notice. This wasn't just going to be another stadium. It was designed to be a revolutionary football cathedral that would set new standards across Europe. The most striking feature of the proposed 70,000 capacity arena was its distinctive exterior design, featuring rings of lush greenery encircling the structure, a nod to Inter's commitment to sustainability and integration with the surrounding environment. Unlike the concrete monolith of San Siro, the new stadium would blend harmoniously with a sprawling park landscape, creating a green oasis in Milan's urban sprawl. Inside, the stadium promised an immersive matchday experience unlike anything in Italian football. The steep seating bowls would bring fans dramatically closer to the action than at San Siro, with the closest seats just 7.5 meters from the pitch, creating an intimidating wall of sound effect particularly sought after by the club's ultras groups. Acoustic engineers specifically designed the roof structure to amplify crowd noise and create one of Europe's most intimidating atmospheres. The premium offerings represented a revolution for Italian football. The plan included 13,000 seats dedicated to corporate and hospitality areas, nearly triple what's available at San Siro. These would range from luxurious private boxes to premium clubs with pitchside dining. According to insider projections, these premium offerings alone could generate over 100 million euros annually, transforming Inter's revenue streams overnight. Technology integration was central to the design, with plans for stadium-wide 5G connectivity, cashless payment systems, and personalized app experiences that would guide fans from transportation to their seats. A first-of-its-kind smart roof would use adjustable panels to optimize natural light while minimizing shadow effects on the pitch. Beyond match days, the stadium complex would feature a club museum, megastore, and Inter-themed entertainment venues designed to attract visitors year-round. An adjacent office tower would house the club's headquarters, while hotel and retail spaces would create a true Inter-district in Rozzano. Every element of the design emphasized Inter's distinct identity, with the club's black and blue colors subtly integrated throughout the architecture. After decades of sharing a home with their rivals, this would finally be a space that was unmistakably and uniquely Inter. Construction of Inter Milan's Rozzano Stadium project was originally slated to begin in late 2025, with ambitious plans to complete the venue in time for the 2028 to 2029 season. However, the path to breaking ground was littered with obstacles and controversies that complicated the timeline. The location itself became an immediate flashpoint. While Rozzano offered the space needed for such an ambitious project, infrastructure concerns quickly emerged. The site was located about a 48-minute journey from central Milan, raising questions about accessibility for fans. Local residents voiced opposition at community meetings, concerned about the inevitable match-day traffic, noise, and disruption a 70,000-capacity stadium would bring to their neighborhood. Political complications further entangled the project. Milan's mayor Beppe Sala made no secret of his preference for both teams to remain at San Siro, seeing the tax revenue and prestige both clubs brought to the city proper. Behind the scenes, political pressure mounted on Inter to reconsider their departure from Milan's most famous sporting venue. The financing structure raised eyebrows among financial analysts too, with Inter Milan still recovering from financial difficulties that had forced previous Chinese owners Suning to cede control to Oaktree Capital. Questions swirled about how the club could afford the estimated 800 million euros construction costs while complying with UEFA's financial regulations. Perhaps most significant was the ticking clock on Inter's option with the Cabassi Group. The exclusive right to develop the Rozzano site expired in early 2025, forcing the club to act. When no final deal was reached, the landowners opened talks with other partners, slowing momentum but not ending the project. Inter continues to explore alternatives to keep the Rozzano plan viable. At the same time, a surprising shift took place in Milan. After years of delays and resistance, the city council began offering new concessions around San Siro, including the possibility for Inter and AC Milan to purchase land and potentially build a modern stadium next to the historic site. This option, once off the table, is now being seriously discussed at the club level. For now, Rozzano remains Inter's main stadium plan, but it's no longer the only one. The San Siro opportunity has introduced a new layer of complexity, and the club is carefully weighing both paths. A final decision hasn't been made, but one thing is clear: the future home of Inter is still taking shape. The financial dynamics behind Inter Milan's stadium ambitions explain why the club ultimately pivoted away from their independent Rozzano project. Initially, the plan for a new standalone stadium was estimated at 800 million euros, an enormous sum for a club still navigating financial challenges. Oaktree Capital, which took control of Inter after previous owners defaulted, committed substantial funds, seeing stadium ownership as the key to long-term profitability. Their models projected that premium seating could boost matchday revenue by 300%, potentially generating an extra 120 million euros annually. However, by 2024, soaring global construction costs forced a reassessment of the project's viability. With the budget approaching 1 billion euros, Inter's ownership realized the financial risks of continuing independently, especially when a joint opportunity with AC Milan emerged. When Milan's municipality offered to sell San Siro and the surrounding land for 197 million euros, the financial equation dramatically shifted. Sharing this cost with AC Milan, Inter could have their investment while still reaching many of their revenue goals. In March 2025, both clubs officially submitted their proposal to the municipality for a shared stadium. This joint plan, calling for a €1 billion investment in a 71,500-seat venue, allows both clubs to maintain separate branding and revenue streams. While this shared stadium is now on the table, no final decision has been made. For Inter fans, the shelved Rozzano dream stirs mixed emotions. While the vision of a uniquely Nerazzurri home is postponed, the shared option offers a more secure financial future, avoiding the crippling debt that could have jeopardized their competitiveness. Looking ahead, the construction of the new shared stadium is expected to begin after the 2026 Winter Olympics, with a 2030 completion target. However, this timeline hinges on whether the shared stadium plan is finalized or the Rozzano project is revisited. San Siro will be preserved as a museum and event space, honoring its legacy while providing both clubs with a more financially sustainable future if the shared plan moves forward. As Inter Milan's stadium saga continues, the club faces a pivotal decision, one that will shape the next chapter of its history. If you enjoyed this in-depth look, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and tap the notification bell for more updates on football infrastructure. And let us know in the comments below, would you prefer Inter to build their own stadium in Rozzano, or is a shared venue the smarter move? Thanks for watching.